Hey everyone, welcome to Hazed Reactions. My name's Rick. We've got Karina and Robert, and we're back on our journey to see if we can get this hip hop fan to a Swiftie. Sorry, I screenshotted right there. I don't know what happened. Anyways, buffering. All right, Hazed Reactions. There we go. Anyways, like I said, we're here with Robert. Robert and me have been friends for 20 years, and the goal of this is, can we get him to add some Taylor Swift to his playlist? Now, just to let you guys know, we are doing a song that we have here on a friendship bracelet.
And I'm going to wear it. Thank you so much, Bridget.
So, what I do want to say, the last song we picked out, which was the Sabrina Carpenter and Taylor Swift, Life of a Showgirl, we picked out because in a previous episode, Robert had mentioned that Sabrina Carpenter was his girl. So we're like, oh, we got to show him this. This is it.
Yeah.
Sure, I love
now,
that.
This song is based on 20 years of me knowing Robert. And I feel like I'm going to have him sold on this song in the first 10 seconds. Because if you go back and you look at our previous view on this, you'll see when I watched it, I was sold in 10 seconds. I think Robert's going to be as well.
I think you're right. And I also think it's just interesting because we've been talking so much about Brunette Taylor, and he's going to get a little bit of a peek at Brunette Taylor in this little visualizer.
Okay. So with that being said, this is off her latest album, Life of a Showgirl.
Okay, got it. I like the name of the song, by the way, and I love the connection, of course, Taylor Swift and Elizabeth Taylor. So I think that's dope.
She uses Elizabeth Taylor quite a bit. In fact, in Ready for It, she says, "Jailer, you can be this Burton. You can be the Burton to this Taylor." So she references Elizabeth Taylor a lot throughout her music. Cook. So
yeah, bro, it's wild. So, and here's my thing is, like we talked about in the previous one, Life of a Showgirl is really just an analogy for being in some sort of show business, right?
Yeah.
One of the biggest in show business was Elizabeth Taylor, right? And she was kind of known for her different relationships and all that. A lot of parallels that you see with Taylor Swift, just in different industries, right?
Correct.
I just want to throw that out there. With that being said, I don't think there's anything I can say outside of this song will sell itself, unless you have anything you want to add before we jump in.
Should I give him the context behind the start of the chorus? You know,
if you want to, go ahead.
The eyes?
Or go ahead. Okay. No, go ahead.
So I don't know if you know, but Elizabeth Taylor was, and this is just a little bit of context because you'll need it when we get into the chorus, but Elizabeth Taylor was very famous for her eyes, which were a very special color of blue. Where sometimes when the light would, like certain lighting would hit her eyes, they would look violet. They would look purple.
Yeah.
And there are many pictures of Elizabeth Taylor. If you search Elizabeth Taylor violet eyes, there are a lot of photos of her from movies and stuff where like her eyes literally look like a purple almost. So. Just a little bit of context and you'll understand why when we get into this.
Got him.
All right. Do you have any questions before we get into this?
No. Okay. No, I think I'm ready for it.
All right, let's go.
Elizabeth Taylor, do you think it's forever? That view of Portofino was on my mind when you called me at the Plaza Athénée. Ooh, oftentimes it doesn't feel so glamorous to be me. All the right guys promised they'd stay under bright lights. They withered away, but you blew. Portofino was on my mind. I think you know why. And if your letters ever said goodbye, I cried my eyes violet. Elizabeth Taylor, tell me for real, do you think it's forever? Been number one, but I never had to. And I can't have fun if I can't have Be My and Wild. When Hollywood hates me, only as hot as your last hit, baby. Been number one, but I never had to. And I can't have fun if I can't have you.
Okay, so I lied. It wasn't 10 seconds. It was about 45 seconds.
There's a little bit more seconds in there, but that drop for sure definitely did it for sure. Yeah, I love how she does this though, bro. Like she's really good at that for us.
Bro, that build up though to that drop, it just. But one thing I kind of caught on this is it gave me 2000s R&B, that intro, that really quiet, almost a cappella singing to the music coming in.
Yeah.
it just caught me. So I did want to kind of pause here and add anything that you want to add the context to Elizabeth Taylor. I know we had a lot of conversation because I thought walking into this album that this was all going to be about Travis Kelce, which was incorrect.
Right. I mean, I do think that this song is about Travis Kelce. I think it's about the beginning phases of their relationship, that questioning portion. I think that she's, obviously relating herself back to Elizabeth Taylor because Elizabeth Taylor struggled with love in the limelight for so long and so often. And there's a lot of different little references like the Plaza Athénée, I believe it's in France.
It's a hotel in Paris, I believe.
And it was a hotel that Elizabeth Taylor was apparently known to frequent often with Richard Burton. And, obviously Portofino in Italy. So she's sitting in France thinking about Italy and, and again, I think Elizabeth Taylor was highly known for, visiting in Italy and Portofino. So just a lot of connections back to where I feel like she's just really relating her life and her struggles with love in the limelight back to, how she perceived Elizabeth Taylor's experience.
Boom. For sure. I definitely agree wholeheartely with that. And what I love is those lines that you were talking about, speaking about Portofino and the Athénée. I love that. Once again, these are the opening lines. These are the things that attract you, but it gives it that luxurious feel. And of course, when we're talking about Elizabeth Taylor, you're usually talking about luxury.
Yes.
So I love that it gives this song that luxury feel because of those lyrics. Another thing that I do like about this, and that I will say that I am starting to love about her music, is good music always makes you think. Or feel or have some type of attachment to it. I think the good thing about this is obviously it's not much that I can relate to per se, but I think what it makes me think about is you don't think about life being in the limelight or being someone trying to date in the limelight. Trying to date someone just in the world is already hard enough. Imagine dating someone who is in the limelight, especially even as a man. And I will say, of course, we as men have we have our pride, and you're dating Taylor Swift. First of all, you're most likely not going to make as much money as her. You're most likely not going to have as many fans as her. For most men, you're not going to compare to who she is per se, and that has to be hard, especially once again, being in the limelight. Somebody's always following you around. There's always a camera on you. There's always a microphone. So you really don't think about those things. But I'm sure her love life has to be extremely hard when you are this big star and trying to find someone that you can trust, someone that fits you, someone that can even deal with this. Like, even then, imagine 100%. Being a husband and your wife is on the road a whole month or two, and you're like, hey, when you coming home? Like, oh, I got to go to Africa to do a concert, and I'm going over to Italy. I'll be back like November. Like, okay, I miss you. All right.
Well,
and the kids will see you later.
And I think you're hitting the nail on the head on that. It's really it's that kind of, what have I sacrificed for the career I love?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it kind of reminds me, and I know, like, I always try to pull it back to hip hop, and that's just who I am, but it reminds me of that line from Eminem on Saying Goodbye to Hollywood, right? Where he goes, what about math? How come I was never good at that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I'm like the boy in the bubble. I never could adapt. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's kind of what I read into it.
Yeah.
So.
No, I agree.
All right. Pull it back a bit, and then we'll hop back into this.
Yeah.
That beat, though.
And I can't have fun if I can't have me, I and why when Hollywood hates me, only as hot as your last hit, baby. Been number one, but I never had to. And I can't have fun if I can't have you. Hey, what could you possibly get for the girl who has everything and nothing all at once? Babe, I would trade the Cartier for someone to trust. We hit the best booth at
It's good.
price. They say I'm bad news, I just say thanks. And you look at me like you're hypnotized, and I think you know why. And if you ever leave me high and dry, I cry my eyes violet. Elizabeth Taylor, tell me for real, do you think it's forever? Been number one, but I never had to. And I can't can't have.
Damn, I have got a hot hand for that pause right now.
Yeah,
right before that bridge. That guy tried to take my fucking pause license. Fuck you, bro.
Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
Cry
Fuck
my
that
eyes
guy.
violet. Elizabeth Taylor.
That's great.
Oh my
Yo,
gosh.
this song feels like funky, bro. Like
Right?
when she goes into that where they right after the hook and it goes into it feels like a jazz club in like the 60s or something. Bro. Like it
Yes.
just I absolutely love that. And I am a fan of that line of "Be my NY when Hollywood hates me."
Yes.
I think that's really significant. Of course, Hollywood and New York, two completely different sides of America.
Yeah.
But I'm sure when Hollywood hates you, that is kind of like, you know, you can still live that luxury life. You can still be who you are in New York, and it's you know
so
a little bit different.
And this is actually a reference point that Taylor uses often throughout her music. She uses the contrast between Hollywood and New York a lot. Taylor is very known to not be a massive, huge fan of Hollywood. But like she's got an apartment in New York. She loves New York. She has an amazing relationship with like the paparazzi in New York. Like they have this respected boundary for her where like she'll come outside, they'll get their couple of pictures and then they leave her alone. Like they don't, you know, they have this trusted understanding between each other. So she really uses that contrast a lot because she loves New York. I think that's like kind of home for her.
That's great.
And, you know, Hollywood makes her, you know, feel a certain way. Like she said, you're only as hot as your last hit. So,
Exactly.
you know, and that's the feeling that Hollywood gives her is she has to keep making these hits. Otherwise, you're going to fade off. You're going to fade away and nobody's going to care about you anymore. So, you know, whereas New York makes her feel alive and special and connected. And, you know, so I think that's kind of the contrast she's trying to show there.
I love that.
And obviously New York being, you know, Be My NY, Travis Kelce, you know, she's talking to him throughout this song.
And it's one of those where I love the transition of how slow it starts off in the first verse. And then you get that heavy bass line and beat that comes in.
Especially when my eyes turn violet and it drops.
It just hits. Oh,
And it doesn't hit where you think it would, like where you would want it to lyrically. It hits on that violet. Like
it works though. And I'm going to send Robert a meme we made about that. That's on our Instagram. I'm going to send you that. You'll like it. But without going too far off the edge. And then you go into the second verse and the heavy bass has dropped out, but you still have the low beat going with the hi-hat and the kicker. And then she gets back and builds up and then cries violet, it hits again, and then back into the chorus. So I love that evolution. And then now I know what comes in the bridge. I'm going to bring it back a little bit so we can get into the bridge, close out the song. And then I want to get your closing impression and we'll find out what you really think of this. All right, buddy?
For sure.
You think it's forever? Been number one, but I never had to. And I can't have fun if I can't have Be My NY when Hollywood hates me.
I do like the implied too. That you, and she doesn't say it like that's it. Yeah.
It's fire, bro.
Yeah.
I
I can't.
If I can't have you. It's a bit Taylor. Do you think it's forever? If I can't have all my white diamonds and lovers.
That's one nigga she is gonna say that.
In the papers, on the screen, and in their minds. All my white diamonds and lovers are forever. Don't you ever end up anything but mine. I cry my eyes violet. Elizabeth Taylor, tell me for real, do you think it's forever? Been number one, but I never had to. And I can't have fun if I can't have Be My
The fucking ad-lib.
Yeah.
hates me. Only as hot as your last
that
hit.
oh yeah.
One, but I never had to. And I can't have fun if I can't have diamonds and Elizabeth Taylor. In the papers, on the
Oh, this part here, all of this like mashing together, bro.
diamonds and lovers are forever. Don't you ever end up anything but mine. Oh.
So
And that's Elizabeth Taylor.
that's Elizabeth Taylor.
It's Elizabeth Taylor. I was wondering if she was going to bring the White Diamonds reference. I absolutely loved how she used it.
Yeah.
That's great. Also, of course, once again, lyrically, I am definitely a fan of her, but I like this this line that she ended with. This all my white diamonds and lovers are forever. Because in my mind, I think that exactly what she's saying is that you definitely, if you have ever dated her, you're going to be in pictures with her, just like these diamonds that she's wearing. And like, you're going to be known for this forever, no matter who you're attached to, no matter who you're married to, even like the guy that we were talking about from Twilight the other day. It was a thing of he's married and his wife's name is Taylor, you know? So it's like, you're attached to this. This is forever, bro.
By the way,
like,
I love
these diamonds are forever, you know?
They're all friends too, by the way. They're all like
That's
cool.
great.
And they actually have a photo where they're all together and they're all pointing at each other doing like the Spider-Man meme because they're all named Taylor. So
that's great.
Yeah.
I do
Okay.
the parallels, right? The fact that, because if you look back, all of Elizabeth Taylor's husbands are known because they are Elizabeth Taylor's husbands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just this line, because she says, you know, all my white diamonds and lovers are forever in the papers, on the screen, and in their minds. Because you're never going to be able to forget me either. So you might try, but you're never going to be able to forget that you dated Taylor Swift.
And so you
can't escape me. This
line to me has opened up a whole new thing, because you pointed this out the first time we listened. We talked about this. And it made me realize that this isn't a song about Travis Kelce. Right. This is a song to Travis Kelce. And that's why I think the bass line hits the way it does and the way it plays like it does, because it hits to our timeline, early 90s, early 90s, 2000s, heavy bass line, R&B.
I think that's where that line is. I think that's exactly who she's talking to, where she says, don't you ever be anything but mine.
Yeah.
I think that's
if
like
your letters ever say goodbye,
I'll cry my eyes violet.
And if you think about it, and you'll be able to, you know, obviously Robert won't be able to appreciate it as much, but you watched the Eras Tour docuseries, you saw that he was handwriting her letters while she was touring.
Yeah.
And, you know, and sending her flowers every single tour date.
And she wrote this album while all that was happening.
Yeah. So
makes sense. And also I low-key, and as great as she is, and as much as I've learned about her music, I definitely feel like I low-key feel like this is a love song. I think she's telling him like, hey, this is obviously been my past and nobody's been able to deal with me. And obviously I'm this big star and there's so much that I have to do and nobody's been able to stand up to that. And I think she's telling him like, you are starting to be that person for me.
Especially when you're talking about, once you start to kind of learn about her 6-year relationship that she was in, that Karina's referenced a couple times.
Yeah.
And what the issue was with that. Remember when we were watching that, the Opalite video with The Rock?
That was the guy who didn't, like, when she had to look for him backstage and all of that, right?
Yep. That's it. So you're right on point with this, is why I'm saying all that.
Even in the first verse, you know, she says, all the right guys promised they'd stay under bright lights. They withered away, but you bloom. So she's saying you can handle standing under these bright lights.
Because he's already been under a different type of bright light. So he's used to it. And so it's just a game. Like, and that's my theme is he plays football and he's famous for playing a game. So he understands just the capacity of, he's famous for something that you really have no control over.
Right.
And the fact that he's comfortable, like what we've seen as far as going on the Eras tour and going on stage and playing out roles during the performance.
Stage. Yeah.
I think, honestly, to kind of give it a little bit of my perspective in it, I definitely agree with what you guys are saying. But I think also, I think it works because he is famous and he's obviously, you know, he's on the big team that has won the Super Bowl and all of the above a few times. But I think that's also the key to it, is that I'm sure the Swifties will love this too. The one thing that Taylor can't beat you at is going to be winning the Super Bowl. Even though she can go to a game and she can take all the fans from the game and the cameras, but she won't ever win a Super Bowl. I can almost guarantee that. Let me not say that too loud, because she might like suit up and then go win the Super Bowl. But that's the one thing, like, as a man, I'm sure it feels good that, hey, you be whoever you want to be. You'll never beat me at my game, at least. And for us, especially men, and in the football world, a Super Bowl is like the crown, the creme de la creme. So it's like, hey, at least you got one thing that, she can shine in her lane and I can be good in my lane, and we'll never have to cross those over too much.
So what I will add on to that, ironically, no, I don't think that we will be, seeing Taylor play tight end on the field anytime.
She's really more of a build for a corner receiver. Be honest.
But what I will say is that there is multiple interviews out there from like Patrick Mahomes and other people on the Chiefs who have said like Taylor is actually like, first of all, she's taken the time to learn everything. Travis talks about this on his podcast. She knows everything down to like the actual plays and everything. And she went into this not even knowing anything about football, how it was played, what the positions were, anything like that. In fact, she asked him what it was like when the Chiefs played against the Eagles in the Super Bowl, what it was like standing across the line from his older brother. And he was like, yeah, that didn't happen.
Because they're both on offense.
Yeah. So she didn't even understand the game. But there's been statements made by like Patrick Mahomes and other people that like, she'll like make, like she wants to learn the plays and she'll make suggestions. She'll be like, oh, like what if you guys tried something like this? Like she'll try to like make suggestions for like different plays they could try and stuff like that. And so I've just found that it's very interesting that she's getting so involved and so just taking on like the responsibility of learning about something that like her now soon to be husband really loves, and so I just always think that that's just so cool. And he does it for her too. Like we said, he joined the stage on the Eras tour for one of the tour nights and like acted out a part in one of the little set scenes that she has. And like, I love how supportive they are of each other's like interests and stuff. So,
yeah. So this all comes down to the last and final question. And it's really the most important. Robert, is this going to make a playlist?
You know what? And I told you guys I'm starting to do this because I did just have one playlist, but I am definitely going to I'm definitely putting together like a gym playlist, and I think this is good because that beat drop on there is definitely like motivating, bro. It's like inspiring that and once again, I do love one of my things lately. It's because I'm getting older, bro, drinking whiskey. But one of my things I like recently is jazz, and honestly, I honestly do. Oh. You know what's so crazy? And I'll say this really quick, but you know what's so crazy is I do think that it's because I'm getting older, and I think that I understand why a lot of older people like jazz is because I think I've been on this world for so long, and people have just talked so damn long, and I'm just tired of hearing like words. Like sometimes it's just good to just hear like some instruments like shut the hell up, just but she definitely gave me those vibes with the once again. I felt like it was funky. I felt like it had like those jazz club vibes in that song, so I do love that. And then with the bass line, it sends it over the top.
I'm gonna use a term I don't use often. I feel like it had some soul to it.
Definitely.
I have more jazzy songs that I will show you. One very much in particular, but we'll obviously get to that another day. But there's more. There's more in the jazzy area. So I'm excited now to get to that.
I'm here for it.
So I'm gonna say that this will probably make the gym playlist once again, which I'm okay with because at the end of the day, I think this is always going to be a resounding success because he's got a fucking friendship bracelet.
I know. On. Yeah. Exactly.
Goes with me everywhere too.
Bro, and here's the thing. Now that we have those, we will fight and kill for those.
Literally.
Yes,
because it's going to be like the equivalent if someone tried to take our death row chain. Like,
I was going to say that. Like, if I was to go outside right now and like somebody tried to rob me, like I would more likely give up my wallet right now. But then they'd be like, "Give me that bracelet." Like now you're going a little bit too fucking far, bro. Like like if we're gonna fight it, we're gonna fight to the death, bro. Like here's my wallet, here's my money and shit, bro. But don't go for my don't, bro. All right,
it's irreplaceable.
And then like 2 vans of Swifties pull up and help me, and now me and Swifties are like all whooping his ass and shit. So he's like, boy, don't fuck with the Swifties, bro. Like,
they don't. There's got to be like some type of bat signal we can make.
Exactly.
That's what I'm thinking. And then they know like who's friendly because they have on bracelets. Whoever you see without a bracelet, you just whip their ass. That's how you know. That's how you know it's an ally.
Swiftie life. Swiftie life.
Oh my god.
Dude, that's my next tag.
We've made
It's
it,
like
bro.
Tupac. Swiftie life.
Swiftie life on the stomach, bro.
On the stomach, bro, in Old English.
I love it.
Swiftie life. That's great. Oh my gosh.
All right, this has turned into shenanigans. So for
For
myself,
sure.
Rick, Karina, and Robert, we want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this episode. But like I said, from all of us, much love. Thank you guys so much for the support. It means the world to us. And we'll see you guys again soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.